You only need to look at how many of them, even to this day, are still in circuit competition or clubman rallying or historic rallying as well, of course, which are all eligible. There's still one heck of a lot of them still out there and competing. And of course, it's Mark 1 on the front row of the grid, Mark 2 on row number 2, another Mark 2 on third row of the grid. So we'll see how they get off the line. Of course, rotary engine Mazda to consider. We've only got 2 front-wheel drive cars in the first 6 on the grid. In fact, the first 8 on the grid, first 10 on the grid, there's only 2 front-wheel drive cars. So we'll wait and see as to how they get off the line compared to the rear-engined and rear-wheel drive cars. So just lining up at the back of the grid is Guy Martin in the final Trabant, the 2-stroke Trabants. And green flag will be waved at the tail end of the field. And then we should be good to go in this first 15-minute race. The Allcomers racing for the Marshals this weekend. Red lights on. Little bit of creeping from the second row of the grid. Lights go out. Gary Preble not too slow away. Is he going to get outgunned by the more powerful Ford Escort on the run towards Paddock Hill Bend? They are still side by side as they head up there. Gary Preble in the Civic is going to take up the lead of the race. Michael Saunders drops down into second place but gets a better run coming out of the corner, and he's looking to try and sneak his way up the inside line as they head in towards the braking area for Druids. And I think he's going to make it stick, is he? Just about. Gary Preble tried to hang on to it but just finally lost out on the exit of the corner.
He's fighting back though in the Honda on the outside going down into Graham Hill Bend, and that's not a good way to get the lead, unfortunately. So the Escort it is that leads around 30s. The left-hander they go. What have you got?
Oh no, finally the handicaps have come up. So the cars off the back of the grid, Bart Lemaire and Guy Martin are already leading this race in the 2 Trabants off the back of the grid. They've got 7 laps extra they've been given compared to everybody else. The other Trabant, James Colburn, has got 5, and so on it diminishes from there. So leading on the road is Michael Saunders, but the best part of 2 laps ahead of the rest of the field at the moment are the number 2 Trabant and the number 8 Trabant.
Oh, well, James Colburn, who is a very, very worthy driver and has been, he's, of course, runs Westbourne Motorsport, and his brother Ben Colburn is also an up-and-coming driver as well. But James has been doing most of his racing in historic racing, hasn't he? And doing a very good job of doing it as well.
Into the pit lane has come Will Davidson at the end of the first lap of the race. Here come the 3 Trabbies though for the start-finish line. They're only now just completing their first lap of the race, whilst Michael Saunders is already about to complete lap number 2. Closing speeds could be quite interesting as this race wears on. So there go the 3 Trabants over the start-finish line. And then there goes our overall race leader, Michael Saunders, about to put a lap on them already.
Yes, well, they've got the opportunity, so they've got 7 laps to play with, haven't they? And look at the speed differential as the Escort sides past them on the run up Hayward Hill. Around Druids goes that lime green machine at the hands of Mike Saunders. Beautiful car, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, he's just managing to gap ever more Gary Preble's Honda Civic, who is doing a good job of managing to stay ahead of the next car that sits behind, which is Rod Burley, who is up to 3rd on the road as things currently stand. Of course, that doesn't account for the handicaps that are being applied to all of these cars. It is still, in terms of the race, going to be the number 2 Trabant of Bert Lemaire that leads the way from number 8 Guy Martin in 2nd place, and the 3rd Trabant of James Colburn is 3rd at the moment. 4th in the race when we apply the handicaps is car number 124, which is Renault Clio, the black car of Scott Kerwin. 5th is going to be, once the things have been applied, is the BMW of Nathan Beresford, and 6th at the moment is going to be car number 64.
So that's with handicap applied. As far as on circuit is concerned, it's still the lime green machine, the Escort from the front row of the grid, car number 99, that is giving us a remarkable display of power, handling, and sometimes a little drifting on a few of the corners, which is exactly what an Escort was so brilliant at doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And this car of Michael Saunders has been so heavily developed over the years. Over the start-finish line he'll come, forever putting the amount of daylight between himself and Gary Preble's little Honda Civic. Rod Burley, West Kingsdown resident, sits there in 3rd position, and he is not that far away from the Honda Civic. It's close in, isn't he?
Pretty dangerous now, Mark, doesn't he?
He was telling me yesterday he's on 698 wins in all things, only a couple away from the 700. So Rob Burley at the moment, 3rd place is not going to be good enough to add to that tally, as Mike Saunders is now weaving his way through the trabbies again.
Quite a wiggle coming out of Graham Hill Bend. Spectacular stuff. Just a joy to watch, aren't they? We're so lucky to have so many historic cars here this weekend in this handicap race. We are racing for Marshals this weekend. It's a doffing of the cap, and a huge thank you to Marshals for allowing us to do what we do, and what a spectacular way to celebrate what Marshals do for us in UK motorsport by having such a mix of cars and such a mix of eras as well. Always entertaining. I'm personally very pleased to see a few Capris out there as well. Capri is the one car that I never owned that I always wished I'd owned.
Right, yeah, here comes Rob Burley up the inside of Gary Prebble. The BMW goes through this time. That takes away second place on the road. Yeah, the two Capris, you can hear Alan Brex as it goes over the start-finish line.
Yes, you can.
Thundering great big Jägermeister one, and Stuart Keyes is the other one, isn't it? The triplex car that's just heading over the start-finish line now. Black flag going out for cars 21, James Colburn, for car 8, Guy Martin, and for car 2, Bart Lemaire. So the three Trabants all being black flagged.
Oh. A gulp and a sharp intake of breath. So potentially not doing what they're meant to do when race leaders were coming through. I don't know.
I really don't know. I genuinely don't know.
No. So black flag is the ultimate flag. Means you need to come into pit lane. So that's not good news. They've been brought in. So I wonder why.
Yeah, so that are the three cars that were first, second and third in the race by the time you added in and included the handicaps that were being given to each of them. It looks like James Colburn is heading for the pit lane, so he's seen the black flag.
I've got a radio mic. I could go live to race control. Or maybe I should
might not be wise at the moment. Guy Martin's staying out, right, so Bart Lemaire comes in as well. So two of the three Trabants that have been shown the black flag have come in, but the yellow one with the black checkers to it almost looks like an American taxi, doesn't it, Alan? Guy Martin stays out.
It does, yeah, going across the line now. And I don't know what the story is. So just coming to a stop underneath the race control building.
I thought Bert Lemaire had come in as well, but
no,
he's still out on track. James Colburn's just going back out now as well.
Oh, really? So, right.
So he's been in, he's had a conversation, he's heading back out.
Well, I don't think there was a conversation.
Right.
It's difficult to tell. They're quite slow on that. He might have stopped. But I didn't, yeah, I went outside to stop. So I don't know. Handicap races are sometimes difficult to follow. Made all the more so when the top three on handicap are called into pit lane with a black flag. Or was it just that the handicapper thought actually 7 laps might have been too many?
I genuinely don't know.
We can only at the moment surmise and guess.
Into the pit lane comes one of the Hyundais. So that is Eddie O'Kane, I think the number 9 car that's trundled its way into the pit lane. And it's going to come to a halt right the way at pit lane exit end. So that car comes to a halt for reasons that we know not what. Out on track, Michael Saunders still being kept busy at the wheel of what is the race leading on track number 99 Ford Escort. But by the time you apply handicaps, Mike Saunders might be leading on the road, but he's 31st in the race at the moment, so through he goes over the start-finish line. Does he pick up any more places on that lap? Yes, he does. He moves to 23rd on that lap, or 24th rather, on that lap, as somebody else then shuffles the order. I think a few lap times are being adjusted. So yeah, he's slowly working his way up through the order. The difficulty will be, Alan, is even as a driver, you know, it's impossible to follow the race when you're a driver. Michael Saunders just knows he's got to go out there, drive as quickly as he can, and see where he is at the end of the race.
You have to do the best that you can.
Yeah.
And it is as simple as that. And it is the same maxim that applies to commentators. You just have to do the best that you can and see what happens at the end of 15 minutes. At the moment, we've got 6 minutes and 10 seconds of the race remaining, and just really enjoy watching some of these more powerful machines work their way through the traffic, because that is not the easiest of jobs when you've got a really full grid. 34 cars in total around the Indy circuit, which is a short circuit. It's less than a minute a lap, and you have quite a bit of traffic to negotiate. These are very, very busy laps, aren't they?
They're very, very busy laps as well. We've got someone else that's got a problem. Ford Escort just pulling off, and it's right on the exit of the right-hand side at Surtees. That's not the safest place for Dennis Peter Moffat. Right, he's got it out of harm's way. Yeah. Right, so that's the number 41 car that's retired. I thought he was going to plop it right at the very edge of the circuit. Now, the one good thing for Michael Saunders, of course, every car he now overtakes, Alan, is highly likely to be a car he's overtaking for position, because on handicap, they'd have gained extra laps on him.
Yes.
So he's not lapping them, he is unlapping himself from them or overtaking.
I reckon that the handicap has done a good job. So we're into the final, almost into the final third of the race. And, yes, we have. Yeah,
Guy Martin's just pulled the number 8 Trabant off on the approach up towards Paddock Hill Bend. So that's the former motorcycle racer and holder of numerous world records out of the race now. Filming for a programme this weekend here at Brands Hatch's Guy. And it looks as though his Trabant has cried enough at the end of this particular one. So Guy was leading the race on handicap at that stage, so that is now going to hand the lead of the race, I think, to the little black Renault Clio that will now take up the lead of the race. We've also got another car spun at Surtees that is just about to rejoin Alan.
And they're into pit lane, so that was one of the cars that hadn't responded to the black flag. So that's predicted down in pit lane.
Ford Escort Mark 1, I think that was H. Harvey, the number 47 car that had a spin. So now where is our Renault Clio? Here it comes now over the start-finish line, is it? No, that's the Ford Fiesta. So the Clio is just heading around through Surtees and up towards McLaren and then on towards Clearways. So that, I think, will be the race leader, Scott Kerwin, at this stage of the race on handicap.
So I've got James Colburn down in pit lane, standing by the number 2 car of there. Trying to read the body language. James Colburn was gesticulating, but I wonder if that was gesticulating to explain something or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
We are at the moment rather in the dark as to why those 3 cars all received a black flag. But now, for the first time, that indication on the screen is removed from the screen, because all 3 of them have completed their race, essentially.
And the red flag is coming out, I'm afraid. So red flag comes out with 3 minutes to go. And what you don't really need in a handicap race is a red flag, Alan, because we're past 75% distance. You don't need to restart it, but the handicap hasn't had time to unwind itself properly.
No, it has not run to conclusion. As far as the motorsport rules are concerned, 75% of a race can be completed if it were a championship to declare a full race result, and therefore full championship points would be awarded. So you can declare a result after 75% of the race. We have completed 78% of the race. We have 3 minutes and 17 seconds of the race remaining. But as we said at the start of the race, the idea would be that if the handicapper has got everything correct and the amount of laps that are added on or taken away from the various cars that start, everything should be equal by the end of the race. So and the session will not be restarted, so the race will not be restarted. So yeah, that's going to be disappointing and frustrating for quite a few of them, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because they were hoping, if it ran to full distance, they could have had the time to claw those laps deficit that they were handed as a result of the handicapping system. But when it doesn't run to full race, you haven't got as much time to try and haul yourself back through the order. So that's going to be a strange result as and when that one is issued. At the point the red flags came out, car number 124 was leading with handicap supplied, which was Scott Kerwin at the wheel of the Renault Clio. Second, but that's the car that stopped out on the road, Guy Martin. So I would imagine come the final results being issued, he was not running at the point the red flag came out, so I don't think he would be classified in second place. I think he would ultimately probably get removed from the results.